Well, let's stay on commodities now with the Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company, Mr. Bismarck Rwani. Mr. Rwani, good morning and welcome to the program. But it doesn't seem we're starting on a good note. I believe you've heard about this tomato Ebola and the threat that it brings to the agriculture value chain. And, you know, when I was reading that story, it's the Minister of Agriculture that is warning us. And I wonder, well, it's his responsibility at first, you know, to cater for such things. But this is a problem coming upon us. I wonder how you see it, how much trouble this can bring to us, and how it can be nipped in the bud.
Thank you very much, Ian, for having me. The problem with tomatoes is that it has the effect of the price of an increase in price of tomatoes leads to what we call cross elasticity, which means that the price of all the other substitutes begin to increase, including the price of carrots, the price of tomato paste, the price of tomato puree, and all other things. One, for the reddening, two, for the effect and the thickening of the sauce that you're making. So that has an effect. However, because tomato is a perishable commodity, it also means that if there's the tomato Ebola and the price has increased and also the supply has reduced, it has a knock-on effect on so many other things. So I think that's where it is a problem. We don't have the storage, we don't have the preventive mechanism, insecticides and all of that, that actually reduces it. So for this season, we are going to have this, and it's going to have a very knock-on effect on so many other commodities that are part of the food basket. I think that is very important to note. So you look out for one, an increase in the price of carrots, increase in the price of tomato paste, increase in the price of tomato puree, increase in everything that adds to the reddening of the sauce and
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, another challenge for us to deal with right there. But I mean, yesterday the Federal Reserve held interest rates steady again, a third consecutive time. What does this mean for us in the emerging economy? Of course, whatever affects the dollar, but just goes down to what's going on, or what happens to us.
It has two things. One is the market effect, and the other one is institutional check and balance. Basically, the central bank autonomy and independence is extremely important for macroeconomic stability, especially in the world's largest economy. The US economy is about $27 trillion in size, 25% of global GDP. And every time that economy is threatened with signs of macroeconomic instability, it has an effect, knock-on effect on the rest of the world. So the Federal Reserve Bank, even though naturally should be thinking at this time because of unemployment, because of inflation, how to reduce rates, right? But the fact that it has become a political tug of war between the executive and the independent central bank has become a problem. Mr. Jerome Powell's term does not come to an end until, I think, May 2026, sometime. And then there's been a lot of pressure on him to bring down rates, whether he likes it or not. And so the question is it right for them to bring down rates at this time? Or two, this is also a part of the psychological tug of war between the executive and the independent of monetary policy in the country. So I think that right now he's doing the right thing, and that there's too much turbulence, and the call that there is a chance that there will be a recession. Goldman Sachs says 40% probability. JP Morgan says 60% probability. And therefore, if there's a probability that there will be a recession, then the most important thing to do at that time is to watch and see, and then if possible, bring down rates. But I don't think it's going to do that now. But what it does for us, one, because the rates have been kept steady, we've seen a drop in the price of oil, and you just said it now, that the price of oil is now Brent is $61 a barrel. But I want you to know that over the past 8 weeks, the dollar has lost probably cumulatively over 9% of its value against a basket of currencies. So what you are getting, the $61 you are getting per barrel now, is an equivalent of maybe $54 if you sold this oil 3 months ago. So the effective price of oil, the nominal price of oil, and more than anything else, the reverse order in terms of the price of gold, which is at about $3,400 per ounce right now, means that there's a flight to quality. People are going from dollar to gold, and people are going also the price of commodities, especially oil, which is denominated in dollars, is becoming lower, and that has a direct impact on us. One, our fiscal revenue. Two, our fiscal deficit. Three, our rate of inflation. And more than anything else, we're talking about we having about maybe $181 per head, right, from oil, compared to about 4,000 or $4,500 maybe of what Saudi Arabia. So if you say oil revenue per capita in Nigeria is about $181, maybe 200, and then in Saudi Arabia it's about $4,000. So you can see the difference between one and the other. So basically, we are oil. We have high oil reserves, but we are very strapped in cash. We need cash, and we need cash to support our currency. So you see, in the last few days, we've seen the naira begin to weaken. In fact, in the last 2 days.
Yeah, we've seen that, Mr. Rwani. We've seen some drops right there in spite of CBN's intervention. But thank you so much.